You know the term life finds a way? I really don't think they found a way in this one. Hey, what is going on, my specialist SPC here, and welcome back to my Jurassic Park review series. If you guys haven't seen it already, I just reviewed the first Jurassic Park film yesterday. Make sure you guys head on up and go check that one out. But now we are here at the 1997 sequel, The Lost World. So I did not get to see this film fully until 2015 when the 4-pack of the Jurassic Park franchise came out. It was the very first time I ever got to see this film as a whole. So, my thoughts haven't really changed much over the years of watching this, so I suppose let's just get into what I liked about The Lost World Jurassic Park. And the biggest positive, you guys, I mean, hands down, is Ian Malcolm. I honestly think that the acting in this film of this character is miles better than it was in the original Jurassic Park. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the character in the original Jurassic Park, but to me, I just feel like Jeff Goldblum puts in a lot more, charisma into this one, and he's a lot more comedic. He's a lot more of a smart aleck when it comes to certain things that he says.
That's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
A lot more of his dialogue feels a lot more, real. Unlike the previous one. It's like they just kind of were trying to find a way to get some iconic lines out of him just so they could sell some merchandise. Next biggest positive, I do have to say, honestly, the Dinosaur Action, I guess we can call it in here, it's pretty good. I mean, honestly, probably the best scene in the entire film, in my personal opinion, is the scene where they're all in the camper and the two T-Rexes are trying to knock them off of the cliff. To me, just how they do that entire sequence, their actual acting, the way that they're looking very fearful, the way that the T-Rexes look while they're trying to knock them over. Of course, you got the animatronic baby T-Rex as well. Just really good animatronics in this film, just like the previous one. Honestly, even too surprisingly, some of the side characters are actually pretty likable. You have Nick Van Owen, played by Vince Vaughn, one of his earlier roles before he started getting more into comedies. His character is actually very likable. He's honestly probably my second favorite character in this entire film. You can really relate to him, like the things that he says, the way that he interacts with other people. It feels just so realistic. Like, this is how you would actually be acting if you were on this island with all these dinosaurs and all these different people on there. I don't remember the guy's name, but I'm going to put a picture right up here. But he goes to the island with Nick and Ian trying to find Sarah, which I'll give you guys my thoughts on her here in a little bit. But he was another very likable character, a very underrated character in this franchise, and it's sad that he kind of met an early end in his life. I would have loved to have seen him go till the end of the film, but unfortunately, And for my final, my final positive for The Lost World, I really enjoy the third act. When you have the T-Rex just loose in San Diego, it's fun to watch. It's just fun to see how this dinosaur, who's been resurrected for the better part of 4 years, goes to basically a concrete island and sees how everybody interacts, seeing how we actually take on a live dinosaur wandering around the streets of San Diego. It just made for a fun little finale. I mean, to me, it's nowhere near as close as the finale you got in the original Jurassic Park, but it's still a fun and enjoyable one. Now, moving on to the one mixed thing I have about this film, it's the character of Roland. He's very charismatic. Unfortunately, I found out, I didn't know this, that the actor who actually played him passed away a number of years after the film released. He does good at acting with the character, but so many people have told me that this is the best character in this entire film. And I sadly have to disagree, While the acting is very well done, I just don't think this character is too likable, The things he says are very interesting, yes, but he almost kind of reminds me of like a Gus Fring, It's hard to want to like the character when they act so, evil or act so devious. And that's exactly how I feel about him. Unfortunately, I wasn't the biggest fan of him. But again, the acting is very good. Now, you guys, moving on to what I don't like about The Lost World. I honestly have to say that this is probably the worst looking film in the entire franchise. Not just on like a technical aspect, because, the way Steven Spielberg is able to shoot certain scenes, they make them look good, but when you look at the special effects on this film, I honestly talked about it in the previous review I just did of the original Jurassic Park. This, honestly, is the worst looking CGI in the entire franchise. I don't mind special effects. I'm somebody who is a gigantic Star Wars fan. But when they look good, they look good. When you can tell that they're cheap, like a lot of the CGI dinosaurs look like in here, it's very hard to stay invested in the film. I didn't feel like this was real compared to the very first film. The first film felt a lot more realistic to me, that I could believe dinosaurs were real, actually roaming around with us. Again, practical effects, they're very good in this film. They're up there with the original Jurassic Park. When you get to this film and you see the CGI dinosaurs, they look horrendous. Now let's talk about characters. First character that I have to say I did not like is Ian's daughter. I really don't even know why she's really in this film. All she's there to do is whine and get a little scared every once in a while when a T-Rex pops up. Other than that, she serves no purpose whatsoever to the story. And now, I honestly have to talk about what, for me, is the biggest, and I mean the biggest negative about this entire film. And it is one character. And it is the character of Sarah Harding. She literally is the cause of every bad thing that happens in this entire film. When you first meet her, she's taking pictures of Stegosauruses. She gets a little too close to one of the babies, snaps a picture, flashes him, and the camera was out of film, so it's starting to reel back in. Starts scaring him. There's a massive stampede. She decides to go and find this baby T-Rex. Decides to take him back and to help him, which, nothing wrong with that. But it's the fact that the other two Tyrannosauruses know where this baby is, and they try to kill them. And then later on in the film, she's got blood all over her jacket from trying to save the baby Tyrannosaurus. One of them finds them and starts just killing everybody. Obviously, you get to the Velociraptors. I mean, that's kind of its own little thing by itself. Just every single bad thing that happens in this film is because of this character. And for me, that's something I cannot stand, is how one character makes so many bad decisions throughout the course of the film just to keep things rolling, just to try and keep things exciting. To me personally, it's pure stupidity to the fact that that is what they're trying to do, is to keep the story going, is having a character constantly make these dumb decisions. I also kind of feel bad putting this as my biggest negative, because it just kind of seems like I'm not a fan of Julianne Moore, because a lot of the movies I've seen her in, the characters that she plays, I'm not a fan of. I don't know what it is. I've never been a big fan of her and her acting. But again, I don't know if it's a character situation. I just don't know if it's her. I haven't really been able to decide yet. So, but for me, yeah, Sarah Harding, easily the single worst part of the film, and she is in so much of it. And that is what drags this film so hard for me to want to try and get through it the rest of the way. Overall, you guys, it's not a terrible film overall. I would just honestly go into it with some mild expectations. Maybe you guys might enjoy it a little more than I did. Maybe you guys will be on the level that I am. Heck, maybe you guys won't like a single thing about this. I'm not sure. But overall, you guys, I would have to give The Lost World Jurassic Park a 2 out of 5. That is going to do it here for my review of The Lost World Jurassic Park. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys go down below in the comments section. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on The Lost World. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you in the middle of it? Is it even possibly your favorite Jurassic Park film? Let me know down below. And make sure you guys continue on and stick with me throughout this review series. We still got 4 more films to go through. I'm super excited to go through the rest of these movies again. I'm also super excited to see Jurassic World Dominion, to see how this Jurassic era ends up. So, with that being said, you guys, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you in the next one.